Well, hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back. I hope you guys are doing fantastic out there. In this video today, we have an offering from Junbpaw. This is a 3080 pure sine wave inverter. I'm excited about this one. If you're an off-gridder, this might be a good one for you to look at. Let's take a closer look. So as you can see, it comes packaged in two different boxes. So we'll just take the smaller box out of the big box. That's how it came shipped here. So the packaging was very good. Junbpaw, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. So this will take DC power and it'll convert it to AC at a pure sine wave rate. So it's very clean electricity that you can get out of these pure sine wave inverters. So there's a look at the tag on the side of the box. Please feel free to pause your screen if you want to read that a little bit longer. That's got the model number and it has some specifications of this unit. And of course, continuing on, it comes in a nice box. And then on the side here, we have some information. This has terminals. It's built for United States electricity, so it has this one right here. It's the LGE3080 is the model, 12 volt, 110 AC, and it operates at 60 Hertz. So there's the information there, and without further ado, let's just go ahead and open this box up. So the first thing that we see is the nice foam packaging, so they package it very well. We have a cord here which looks like Ethernet cord, and what this is for connecting the remote control switch to the power inverter. So this is basic Ethernet cord. We do have the user manual, LGE3080 is the model we're looking at today. So very nice. We're going to thumb through this fairly quickly, so the pause button might be your friend. Talks about functional features introduction. It talks about the protection functions. There's a little block diagram there. There's all the specifications on both of those pages. So very cool. Gives you a product description of the panel. So we're looking at this one here because that's the unit we have today. Right there. Lots of good information right there. So it gives you whatever letter like K right here, and then it corresponds over to the AC terminals. So very nice. It gives us the dimensions of the unit. It talks about the temperature power curve a little bit. Very cool. Socket and wire. Shows the accessories that are included in the box. So we got the RJ45 cable that we just saw. We're going to see the remote control, and then there's also cables to connect it to the battery. Right here is the 12 volt version of the 3080. So right here's our information that we're looking for. We're almost finished. And then again, it talks about the remote control. So if you have a question about what one of those items are, like say H for example, you just come down to here and you find H. That is the power ratio. Very cool. Operation guide information. Very nice. And that continues on. And then of course it goes into common problems and solutions for those problems. Very nice. And then on the back there's a QR code as well as some contact information And that's all there is to it for the user manual. Next thing that we see is this paper, which is the product overview. So here we have this page, very nice. We saw that just a second ago in the user manual. There's another QR code if you wish to pause and scan. And then on the back, model 3080 right here on the right. So there's our specifications for that. Lots of good information here. We have the 12 volt version. And that's all we have there. Protective functions. So we do have low voltage alarm, low voltage protection, low voltage recovery, over voltage protection, over voltage recovery, thermal protection, overload protection, and short circuit protection. Very nice. The next thing that we see here are the cables or the wires that you'll use to connect this power inverter to the battery. Let's take a look at those. Those are rated for 1000 volts. These are number 2 AWG. So these ought to fit pretty nice. So it's nice that they include that. We see in there here, there's a little box, and in this box, this is the remote control. So this is where that RJ45 wire will plug in, right here. And then the other end of this wire will go to the inverter. And then of course you can turn the inverter on and off. You can mount this to a wall or something, and this feels like it's metal. This feels like it's built pretty good. It's like a metal box. I like this, and it's going to give us a good display with lots of information to read on this power inverter. So very nice, all the stuff that they include. And the fact that they package this thing very well. It's padded very well. They got cardboard reinforcements. It's in a plastic bag. I mean, they get an A+ as far as their grade on packaging. Other companies should probably watch this and take notes. They reinforce it with cardboard. Very, very good. It's also in a plastic bag to prevent dust or water or anything like that. Maybe your package gets delivered in the rain or something. The unit is protected as well as it could be protected. And I think that's fantastic. So on the back here we have the negative terminal, we have the positive terminal, we have 2 fans that push air outward. I'm assuming that the air goes away from the inverter. Sometimes inverters suck air in. So we'll have to take a look at that and see what direction those fans are blowing. We have a display right here, and then here is the front end. Right here, if you remove this little screw, there's terminals under there. So you got your hot, your neutral, and your ground. And then right here is where you plug in for your remote, right here. You got 2 AC outlets, you have a switch. So in the up position, you would be turning the inverter on. In the middle position, the inverter's off. And in the down position, you're going to be using the remote. So very cool. You also have a 2.1 amp 5 volt USB-A port as well as a USB-C port. And you have an indicator light that's letting us know when the power is on, when we can use the unit. Here's a look at the bottom. There's a little tag right there. I'm trying to get out of the shadows here. Hopefully you can see that. That has a lot of specifications, and the bottom is also metal, but yet there's these nice little rubber boots that go over these metal feet. I like that. Little rubber boots. So they put a lot of attention to detail on this unit. I like the little rubber boots. That's pretty cool. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and set this thing up and we'll start testing it. Okay, we have a lithium iron phosphate battery here. I'm going to go ahead and take a knife and cut these little zip ties off the wires here. We'll take one end, plug it right here to the back. It's extremely simple. That's in the off position, so we'll set that aside. We'll come grab the other end. It'll go right here, just like so, and we'll put this switch in the down position. So this switch right here, it's going to go down towards this cable. You want your connections fairly tight. Now usually what I do before I make the connection, I like to tap the positive to the positive terminal. Sometimes you'll see a small spark, and if you do, don't be alarmed. That small spark is the battery charging the capacitors in the power inverter. So let's take a look at that. Got a little spark. If you see more than one spark, that's not normal. So if you do see a spark, it should only be one. If you ever see like multiple sparks or anything like that, something's not right. Okay, we're almost there, folks. Now at this point, we pretty much have the inverter powered up. And from here, we can take this remote switch and turn it into the on position. And as you can see, the screen came to life, and it'll give us all the data that we need to see. We also have this screen that's also displaying that same data. So there's a look at the screen on the inverter itself. Right here you can see 13.2 volts. That's the battery voltage. It's producing 110 volt alternating current, and we are currently not drawing any wattage. But once we start using this inverter, we will start seeing wattage on the remote screen as well as on this screen. Okay, the first device that I want to plug in for the test is going to be this little fan right here. Just a little tabletop fan. So we'll just go ahead and plug it in right here. We'll switch it on to low, and as you can see, the screen is now telling us that we're pulling 17 watts, 19 watts. That fan is on low. And the screen here on the side of the inverter is matching the same exact information. Let's bump it up to medium and see what this fan draws. So on medium, we jumped up to 19 watts of output. That's what we're pulling. So that's not too bad. And then of course let's go up to high and see what it does on high. 21 watts, 19 to 21. So that's not too bad. I really like this remote control that they have for this Junbpaw power inverter. It's really nice. I'm going to go ahead and set up a pressure cooker now. I already have a little bit of water in there. So let's plug that. Spin this around. Let's see if I can get this close enough where I can plug it in. Make sure we're in the pressure position. So we're going to run the fan as well as the pressure cooker. Pressure cooker is one of my favorite tests because it pulls a pretty good amount of electricity. So we got this locked in. Let's go ahead and push the pressure cook button. And now as we start to see things warm up, we'll start noticing the numbers changing. There we go, we're coming up to pressure. We're looking at 824 watts, and that's running both devices. Now this unit, even though it's 3080 watts on this power inverter, it does surge up to 6000 watts. So if you're having trouble getting something started, the fact that it'll surge could get that thing running. And it's a quiet unit. It only puts out 30 decibels. This is perfect for your off-grid applications. Maybe you have an RV, maybe you, like us, live off the grid. You got a travel trailer, you want to go camping, things like that, or just outdoor adventures. Or maybe you are running a job site where you're building houses or something and you need to charge power tool batteries. Who knows? Maybe you need to run a circular saw or a miter saw or something like that. 3,000 watts of power is a lot of power that can accomplish that task with ease, honestly. Now the width of this unit, it's 10.4 inches wide, and the length of the unit, it's 15.9 inches long here. So that's not super large. The red and black cables that came with the inverter, those are 1.64 feet. And again, they are number 2 AWG cables. Once the pressure cooker comes up to pressure, this wattage will only draw what the fan is running. Now the cool thing about this power inverter is it's compatible with all of your 12-volt batteries. So if you've got lead acid batteries, this will work. If you've got AGM batteries, if you've got sealed batteries, flood acid, you've got lithium ion, or even in our case lithium iron phosphate, it will work with all of those types of batteries. It's good if you have deep cycle batteries, and there is a lot of protections on this system. You saw the little rubber boots, those provide vibration protection. Now the unit itself, it's got short circuit protection, as I mentioned earlier, over voltage protection. It does have isolated input and output on the design of it. It does have a overheat protection. It does have overload protection and also low voltage protection. So if your battery voltage gets too low, this thing will turn itself off and not damage things. So very, very cool. Now another feature about this inverter that I really like, living in the Southwest where we get hot temperatures, is the temperature of this unit at full load, which is 30 degrees centigrade temperature. It'll maintain that temperature, the fans will kick on, and it'll maintain 30 degrees centigrade. So that is fantastic for us living here in the Southwest. Now at the time that I'm filming this video, you'll see the link down below in the description box. They are offering a $30 off coupon code for this unit. You just add it to your cart, make sure you check the coupon before you add it, and you'll save some money on this thing. Current retail price right now is $200. So if you knock $30 off of that, you could save a little bit of money on this unit. Another thing that I really like about this unit is the pre-charge function of the inverter. And what this does is it helps eliminate the demand for high instantaneous current draw from the battery, and it'll help the BMS during startup, so you don't have BMS faults on your battery. I like that. This one has that protection system on it. It also has built-in dual protection for AC or DC. So if you have insects that crawl through and they get inside, it has no risk of smoking or fire hazard or anything like that. You can see that the little light here is green, telling us that the inverter is powered on. This is just a really nice inverter. Now you can see the wattage just dropped down. We are up to pressure. We are only pulling the wattage of what the fan is running now. So if we were cooking something in here, beans or whatever, we are now up to pressure. We have our battery voltage, we have our AC voltage, and it just kicked back on, and now it kicked back off. We're up to pressure. And again, this is pure sine wave power. This is not modified sine wave. If you're going to be running an inverter and you're going to be operating sensitive medical equipment or gaming equipment, computer equipment, or even like living in the off-grid tiny house, we prefer sine wave inverters because the electricity that comes out of them is much, much, much cleaner than the electricity coming out of those other inverters. Okay, at this point what I want to do is I want to try to charge my phone. So I'm going to plug in this USB-A just like that. And now let's get the phone here and let's plug it in and see what happens on the phone. There you can see charging has begun. So yeah, that's nice. We're now charging our phone. Very cool. We're pulling 21 watts. That's just the fan. When I turn the fan off, let's see what happens. It goes all the way down to 0 watts. It's not even registering on the inverter charging my phone. You also see that the battery voltage on the lithium iron phosphate battery came up to 13.1. Anytime you're moving large amounts of electricity, it's almost like water flowing. And what'll happen there is the voltages will drop, and then when they kind of settle, the voltages will kind of settle into what they truly are. Okay, so if you were going to install this in a tiny house or something like that, and you're going to wire this thing directly into a breaker panel or something, you will use these terminals. So let's go ahead and take the drill and show you what these terminals look like. That's a metal bracket. Again, you have a hot, a neutral, and a ground. And that would be like if you're going to be running your Romex or whatever type of wire that you're running, that's where they go, right there. It's very nice that those are on this inverter. A lot of inverters do not have those terminals. So when I find one that does, I really like that. I like this little metal cover too. I mean, this thing is solid. It's got these little keys that will fit in these little slots, so it lines right up. It's not plastic like some of the other inverters that I've seen. They'll have plastic on them. So we'll just take our screw and put it right back. And it's hollow at the bottom, so if you were to run your wires, you can put the plate back on even when your wires are installed, and everything will be just fine. Cool thing about this remote is when you're finished doing whatever you're doing, you can just turn all the power off just like this. So like at the end of the night, if you don't want this thing drawing down your battery, you can absolutely do that. If you don't want to run the remote, you can disconnect here, put this in the neutral position, and if you want to power things on, you just push this upward. Just like that. You saw that went red, and then now it's green, and now we're turning on the pressure cooker. I'm seeing 21 watts, which is the fan, and then again, if I pressure cook, this will start to climb. I like the display, and I like the option of having the remote as well as being able to use this standalone without the remote. We're pulling 828 watts, 830 watts. And this is a very nice unit. Well folks, my final thoughts on this Junbpaw 3080 watt pure sine wave inverter. I gotta be honest with you, I am impressed with this inverter. I've worked with other inverters in the past and was very disappointed, but this one I'm happy with. It seems to be doing everything it's supposed to do. It's a quiet unit. It's a heavy unit, which means there's some good hardware inside. All the protection systems and everything, you know, running the fan, running the phone, pressure cooker. I could have added more things, more heavier draws, but from what I can see here, I'm impressed. I want to say thank you guys for joining me today on this video. I hope that you guys got some good, useful information out of it. If you're interested in this inverter, I'll put a link down below in the description box. Make sure that you don't forget that coupon of $30 if it's still in effect at the time that you purchase. So with all that being said, folks, again, I hope you have a beautiful day. Please feel free to thumb up this video, leave comments down below, share this video, and if you like the type of content that you see on my channel, please hit that subscribe button and choose all notifications. And until next time, stay blessed out there. We'll see you on the next one. Bye for now, everybody.